from the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California. It's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, I'm Coach C. Collins. Welcome to Bout That Life podcast.
Coach MJ, GGT.
And we are here and back to bring you a good show talking about AAU basketball life and everything in between. So if you have been rocking with us from the beginning, we're here on episode 48. You've been a real one. We appreciate you. While you're here, go ahead and maybe hit that follow and that like and subscribe. We're going to do a deep dive into the recent current events of the NBA, the AAU landscape, the high school, the college, give you some tips. Hopefully it's helping. I know I've had quite a few people come up to me at AAU events, and basketball events and all that, and they're like, man, I love your show. I was in L.A., for the Adidas Gold Gauntlet, and had a few people like,
really,
yeah, man. They were like, man, they were like,
go.
we like. It was like, bro, because they heard me screaming on the court, they heard me coaching, and he was like, he said, I know that voice. He was like, I heard your voice. He's like, I know that voice, and he was like, bro, I just wanted to tell you, man, like,
That's
we
dope.
peep your journey. We love what you're doing. So
almost to 50, man.
yeah, I know, man.
50 episodes.
And again, for those who are giving us support and telling me, Mark and Johan, that they appreciate what we do, that's really what we do it for. You know what I mean? If it's giving you some knowledge as a parent, giving you kids knowledge for the next generation, some tips. If we helping one person out there, I'm feeling like we're achieving our goal.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's get to it. I have a guest coming to you guys. Again, Sacramento hometown kid, finished up in Sacramento, which is great. We're going to do, kind of a deep dive into who he is, his basketball journey, and hopefully it can give you guys some tips for the youth side. It can definitely help you guys that are still currently in college. Even the most unique thing that I like having him on the show is he is a case study of the transfer portal actually working in his favor. Me and Mark were talking about it before the show. We hear a lot about, and I get it to a degree, how the cautionary side of the transfer portal, there's 1,000 kids sitting there with nowhere to go, 1,500 kids sitting there with nowhere to go. Like, I get it. I'm not saying you should ignore that. But I do think we do need to acknowledge there is another side to it where it works and it's actually beneficial for certain athletes, because we have one sitting right here in front of us. So without further ado, let me introduce Zach Chappell. Appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Zach legend already.
Been a long time coming. Been trying to get it going, but glad to be here.
No, I appreciate you taking the time. So I'm going to mention who you are briefly, because I know sometimes guests feel weird about saying like who they are and what they did. So you could, I'll do that work
We'll
for
hype you up.
Yeah, we'll help you out with that.
I appreciate it.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong on anything, because obviously I'm taking all this from the internet. So you tell me if I need to correct something. So, like I said, hometown kid, grew up in Sac, went to Capital Christian High School, right? Did you complete all 4 years there, or okay? So you did all 4 years there.
Started in 8th grade.
Oh, you started in 8th grade. Okay. Well, again, that's nice in itself, because there's so many kids transferring high schools. So, for you to do all 4 years, that's great. You graduated from there. Was say right here, you had 20 points a game, 4.3 assists, and 4.7 rebounds, shooting 55% from the field and 47% from the 3-point line your senior year.
Wet ball.
Yeah.
Wet ball.
All that to say, you did pretty good your senior year. And then from there, you went straight to San Jose State, correct? Right? Did a couple seasons there. Again, it says you were the team sixth man as a sophomore, averaged 6 points a game, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, with almost 20 minutes per game. Scored in double figures 9 times. So there you go. It seems like your sophomore year you grew and accomplished there. Then for the 2021 season, played in 13 games and then transferred from there and finished out at Sac State. Or did you play the games, then have to wait and then transfer? How did that work?
So I played 2 at San Jose and then transferred
Okay.
In that COVID year, I played.
Okay.
I was on restricted minutes at Sac State.
Okay, perfect. Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm glad you're here to clarify.
Missed
Okay.
some games, yeah.
Yeah. And then overall your senior year stats, and again, I'm just pulling this from what it shows. 30 minutes a game, 3 rebounds, 2 to 3 assists, 1 steal, and about 14, 15 points per game. So not a bad stat line at all.
That's a big season right there.
Yep. And you play, or you go ahead and tell the public, what position do you play?
Guard, point two.
Point two. Okay, perfect. So now that we got your resume out the way, let's get right into it. So I'm assuming during your youth and high school career, did you play AAU basketball? Right?
All of it.
All of it? Okay, perfect.
Starting to CYBL, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Tell us your basketball journey, kind of, roughly from, like I'd say 6th grade, middle school up, like, and what was your main AAU program or programs? You go ahead and tell the public who you are.
Yep. So starting in 6th grade, man, that's when I don't even remember who I was playing with.
Yeah.
I usually played up my whole youth years with my brother. I have 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
So played up with them or with Ryan, and then he's 2 years older. We started in the CYBL, man, and then they had a little CYBL/AAU thing going on, so we did that.
Nice.
And then after that, moved to kind of the AAU side, but played with Yellow Jackets, played with the Predators.
Mm-hmm.
Went down and played with a team from LA, who was nice. Crazy, but when we talking about the whole back,
Yeah. The
right?
reclasses. Oh yeah.
All that. But played with Team Superstar, Under Armour team, with my brother again. Whole lot of pros.
That's dope.
And then after that, went and played with Team Arsenal.
Yeah.
After that, went and played with Portland Basketball Club, a Nike team, UABL. And then after that, I finished with the Las Vegas Prospects.
Okay. And then I guess my immediate question, since obviously, you're traveled, you're seasoned, you played in a lot of good programs with a lot of good players, do you, in your opinion, for someone who's done that, did each experience teach you something, or did you gain something from each experience? Like, or was there maybe a team you're like, this is just, I'm just hooping, and, this other one, like, no, or a coach that gravitated to you, like, give me the totality of that experience is basically what I'm saying.
I'd say the team that probably shaped me the most, obviously all the teams were a big part of my journey. Mm-hmm. Met a whole bunch of guys, still in contact with pretty much all of the coaches that I've had, a bunch of the players.
Nice.
But growing up, we played with a team called the Goon Squad. So my brother and I, and then our oldest brother was one of the coaches, my god brother, Steve. He was the head coach, and then JT, y'all know JT?
Yeah,
Coach
of course.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
He was a coach. It was like Dante Green's AAU team. I say that team probably shaped me the most. Just because, everybody's older. Christian Terrell was on that team.
Yeah.
We were loaded, but just the whole experience and the whole brotherhood and the whole, you got it all with that team. So.
Okay. All right. Mark, did you have anything off the top of your head yet?
How was it for you, like you said, like, during your whole, the AAU process of your development, like, were you always playing the point? You're telling me you have brothers. Like, how did you train with your brothers every day? Like, what was your work ethic during that time, that young period? Like, is that kind of, where everything kind of started, I don't know, making you fall in love with the game around that time?
Yeah. So first, back to the AAU stuff. I personally wish that I would have stayed with a team, AAU team.
Instead of like going to different ones. Okay.
Yeah.
That's rare because a lot of people don't say that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we'll talk more about that later. But yeah.
But back to what you were saying, man. Definitely growing up with them being older, me being the youngest, getting beat up all the time, playing with older guys and stuff. I think that's like my hunger to want to play, because my dad coached me and then my god brother, obviously.
Yeah.
But they would just bench me And so with me being young, I'm like, I hate this. Like, why I'm going to play basketball? I played soccer too. I'm like, why am I going to play basketball?
Right,
I don't
right.
play.
Yeah.
Like, but then at the same time, I would play with them and I, kind of hold my own. And then if I got in, and then I would go play with my age or a year older, we kind of called it my age. And I would like be one of the guys. So I'm like, okay, I kind of, I saw that working. Growing up, it was tough, man. I didn't know if hoop was for me for real, just because, I'm like, if I'm sitting on the bench, like,
and your dad was the coach.
Exactly.
Right.
But it built me. So I'm thankful for that, for sure.
That's dope.
Did it help you dealing with that adversity? You think it helped mold you into like your approach to the game today?
Yeah, and it was deeper than hoop for sure.
Okay.
Adversity is everywhere, man. Y'all know.
I'm 40. Trust me, I know. So you being a Sacramento kid, kind of seeing the landscape of basketball from every aspect. Trainers, coaches, AAU programs. They come and go. There's ones that have sustained a long time, like the one you're here. YBA obviously has been around a long time. Things like that. But overall, now that you're kind of removed out of this, right? You're a college graduate. You're removed from AAU. You're obviously, transitioning and working towards the next part of your basketball journey. What do you see happening in this basketball world right now? Is it good, bad, indifferent, whatever, but just what's your take on it?
So when I was growing up, we didn't go to trainers. Like I'm scrambling to get a ride to the gym, my brother and I, and then we would go to the gym and just, if it was in the morning or whatever, we would go and just be there all day.
Yeah.
So we would run with whoever we would play. We'd kind of shoot. We'd play one-on-one. We had like a little group of friends that would kind of kick it. And then later in the day, the grown men would come. We would play with them. But that was kind of like our training. We didn't really, like my dad, he played basketball and football in college at Davis. And then my older brother, he played D2 ball in Hawaii.
Okay, nice.
But they didn't know the whole get down with the trainers. Like, so we just going off of what they know, right? What they know is what we know. So we just going in there getting shots and stuff, and really playing one-on-one. But now we can see kids is really getting skilled with all these trainers. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, right?
Right.
I think a lot of part of the game is kind of getting lost, a lot of the grit, right? Especially with the way y'all grew up is, what I'm saying? You can definitely see a difference.
My basketball culture was real different than y'all.
Exactly.
Because I'm older than him.
So we losing a lot of that, but we are seeing the skill is
through the roof.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, you saw one of my sixth graders, to just walk in. He's huge, and but the kid, funny enough, even with that kid Jordan, he's a football kid. He's a quarterback in football.
Oh, wow.
So he's only been playing basketball now 8 months.
That's
8 or 9 months,
crazy.
and now that sixth grade team. But but to be fair, that kid is always here, like always.
Like
like God rest his soul. Remember Anthony? He's like that. But obviously, his mom, his dad are super supportive. He's here every fucking day working.
That's scary then.
Yeah, man. And his dad 6'8".
Dang.
He played Division II football.
Wow.
So it's his potential's crazy. But like you said, because he has access to someone like me training, coaching him, and this facility and all the other coaches, his growth is way faster. You know what I mean? And I kind of, just on a side note, I kind of like getting football kids and turning them into basketball players because they're going to be tough.
They're tough, yeah.
They're going to be tough. It's hard to make a soft hooper tough. Like you can't. It's just nothing you can do about it. Like
it's a longer process. Or they just don't got it.
Right. Football players. I know they coming to me tough. I got to soften them up. Like, hey, you can't just run dudes over, man. You got to calm down. Like I much prefer that.
That's true.
So then, reflecting on your basketball career thus far, right? Seeing the ups and downs and things like that. What has overall been your motivation to just, to keep going, to things like that? Like what gets you out of bed to say, you know what, I'm gonna go in the gym and put in the work every day?
My faith is a big part of my life.
Okay.
That's really everything. I don't have like a traditional, like Christian faith.
Okay.
It's so many layers
Yeah.
to the Bible that we have to, that I've been, as of late, kind of unfolding. But so my faith for sure, and also obviously my family. Family's a big part. Like for example, I'm going to play in the Drew League on Sunday, and
Nice.
it's always
That's huge.
It's always been like a dream of mine, right? And
Don't end up on YouTube getting dunked on or something.
it might happen. Nah, but it's always been a dream of mine. And I was at dinner with my family yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I might not go, might not. And my fiance, she's like, but you've always dreamed of it. Like, why would you not want to? She was like, I think you need to step back and be like, what would like young Zach, think of? And then kind of my parents and my brothers like, yeah, y'all, you can't pass this up.
I,
little
1,000%
like
agree
that.
with them.
Exactly.
Opportunity.
Exactly.
All right. Well then, let's talk about the transfer portal, because that's obviously huge. You're a great case study of this, because the reality is the transfer portal is still in its infancy. It's still a very young
It's true.
process, right? So you being kind of one of the first, the beta testers, if you want to call it that, like the first generation, and it worked for you. So, walk us through it. Obviously you say however detailed you want to be, because obviously I know you might not necessarily want to throw anybody under the bus or something, but all I'm saying is walk us through it. You're at San Jose, you're reflecting, you're thinking to yourself, COVID happens, you're like, it might be time for me to make this move. You make the move. Do you go to the coach first? Do you type something up? Like, just tell us how it works.
Yeah, so my first 2 years in San Jose, it was, I loved it. Like, I loved the school, I loved the people. But
Damn, bug.
what made it tough though is that it was our head coaches at the time. It was his first head coaching job, so we didn't really have I think it was his third year in. My second year was his third year, so we didn't really have like a culture that we had set. Like when I first came in, it was 8-9 new guys. Okay. Right, so we're all trying to figure it out, and obviously we won 11 games in 2 years. And
so that doesn't make it any better, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And losing is tough.
Yes.
Right. Everybody's wrong. Everybody think they're right. And so that played a part. But also my whole class really got together, and we were like, look, man, like we're at the point, because college basketball at that level will really make or break you. Like,
yeah, sure, I agree.
Especially when you're young like that. We didn't really have no like vets that was really, because our vets were JUCO guys that were just in it too. So so we didn't have nobody to really tell us how to move or anything. So we're like, yo, if we gonna stay, we gonna just be on the hoop team. We gonna get our school and just be cool. Like we're not gonna try to play further. And then we had another meeting, and we're like, man, we want to hoop, bro. Let's get out of here. Let's go to a more established program, and let's try to turn this thing up. So after we decided that, talk with my family, talk with my mentors and stuff, and then went to the coach and was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I appreciate you. Like, coach was really good to me outside of basketball. Like, basketball, he was good to me too, but outside of basketball, like, I had some family stuff going on, and I didn't have my license at the time. He drove me all the way from San Jose to Sac and back. Like, he's a real good dude. So it was hard for me, because I'm big on loyalty and trust and stuff. And so it was hard for me to be like, kind of break it to him, like, hey, I'm leaving you. Like, so I did. It didn't go well. He was not happy, obviously, losing players. I wasn't the first, but and so I told him. We had several conversations. Kind of had some conversations outside of, I probably ain't supposed to say this, but had some conversations outside of, because I didn't want to, my worst fear was entering the portal and not having nowhere to go. So I'm scrambling, talking to, some different people I trust. They didn't talk to Sac, so Sac has nothing to do with this. But just making sure that I have programs that are like, no, we want them. Like, well, so kind of went through the back end, was like, okay, cool. I have these couple schools lined up. So if I don't get anything I want, I'll be
you
straight.
have somewhere to go. Yes.
Right. And then talk to compliance. They put me in the portal. After they put me in the portal, then it was on.
Okay.
It was crazy.
So step me or help me just not necessarily for me, so the audience knows. When you do put your name in the portal, is it like you go talk to an administrator and they do it for you, or is that kind of how it works? You just go to a counselor and say, "Hey, I'm trying to do this." I just don't know personally.
So it's compliance. So you go to compliance and you're like, "Hey, I want to enter the transfer portal." They're like, "Okay, cool." Then they'll do everything, put your name in there. So you can really do it without telling your coach. Like, people do that all the time.
But you do it but you respected your coach and that relationship, which is the right way to do it. That's absolutely. But I didn't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm glad. See, that's why I'm glad we're talking about this, because I have no clue.
What's crazy is all the coaches will get like an alert saying, "Hey, this person just entered the portal." So if you my coach and I go backdoor you into the portal, you get an alert saying, "Oh yeah,
find out anyway."
So and so, you like, this is my player. Like,
oh, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure you know stories of guys who've done that, or felt the need to do it, which I can only imagine. I ain't been in those shoes, so I don't judge. I guess obviously I assume every coach recruits a kid and wants them to stay there all 4 years, but the landscape of college basketball has changed. There is no more 4-year scholarships. No. There is, it's year by year, right? Yeah. So it's tough.
And that's something I found out too, is that it's always been year to year. So it's really semester to semester. So like if a coach is like, "Nah, we don't want him," they'll boot you in Christmas. You'll come back like if they really want to and find somebody else.
Yeah. No, you're right, and it's tough because you just don't know, man. People are people. Like obviously, there's
it is, and it's their job, so you got to respect it. Like,
well, I think you definitely did it the right way, and that was kind of part two of my question with loyalty and that seems to be a huge thing, and I deal with it in AAU basketball big time, because like you said, you played for a lot of multiple programs. That still goes on. There's a lot of kids that play for a lot of programs, and Mark knows with me, I'm very much I grow my kids, but I'm really a grassroots guy. I get kids when nobody's looking at them, nobody even knows their name. I really put them through that journey, and then when they're really good, they've left. You know what I mean? And some leave the correct way, right? Like having a conversation, talk to their parents, whatnot. At least hear me out to see if I can give them a counter, and if they say no, they leave. And then there's some like they just gone, like what I mean, like help train them, help them grow for 5-6 years, and they're like, "Oh, I'm really good now. Bye, coach." Like, and that's it. And I don't even talk to them ever again. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad, but that's just a reality. So in the college landscape, amongst you and your peers, what's the overall consensus dealing with this? Is it like when you talk to your friends and things like that, they're like, "Oh man, this coach tripping. I'm out. Like, I'm just leaving." Or maybe one of your friends is like, "Man, I really like coach, but this team sucks," and like just different things like that. How speak on that, or your thoughts on any of that type of stuff?
Yeah, I think it can go both ways. I think there are times when the player is just like, "I'm gonna just do me. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm too good," and there's other times where like the player will be really good and the team won't accept the player, so the player ain't got a choice but to leave. And there's other times, obviously, where the coach is like, we don't need you no more, right? And then there's the time where the player's like, I'm capable of more than what I'm, given. So I think it can go however. But when we talking about loyalty, I think that at the end of the day, there can be a respect and there can be a loyalty with still moving on. Yeah. And I think that, especially with coaching, like when I went to San Jose, I literally went there for a coach. I'm still in contact with him today. We're still pretty close. Well, not pretty close, but we're cool. Yeah. When I go to LA, I talk to him. Yeah. He's at USC now, but when I went to San Jose, it was because of him. Like, I didn't know the head coach. I didn't know none of the assistants. I didn't know none of the players. Nothing. I knew this one assistant coach who had recruited me since I was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like young, like 8th grade.
And
he was
then
recruiting
left.
my brother, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so we're close. Trust him. I'm like, wherever you go, I'm with you.
Right.
Right? So he's at San Jose. And so my first summer there, he ends up getting a job elsewhere in our conference, and he's gone.
Damn.
So I'm like, dang, right? And there's some other crazy life stuff that's happening, so I'm just like feeling alone. I don't really know these guys on my team yet. And so
You was young too.
I'm young, like,
Yeah.
and that was my guy. Like,
Yeah.
he's helping me with everything.
So now you feel like, damn, this dude just up and left me. Like, you know, I get it. I know what you mean. So
no guidance.
yeah.
Or mentorship. Or,
Yeah, and so from the outside looking in, like, especially with my parents, they're like, oh, like, he, whatever. But then I had to really, like, take a second and look at it from his perspective. He's from out there. He's, you know what I'm saying? He just wants to be close to his family. It's he probably getting more money.
Yeah.
He's at a better team, so, you know, it's
Like
better
you said,
for his
it's
career.
his career. Yep.
Exactly. So once I looked at it like that, I'm like, okay, I understand. Like, it's no hard feeling. And we had a conversation too.
No, well, that's good. That's good. Marcus, you have anything else, or well, before I move on from this topic?
Well, like I said, this shit cutthroat. Like, stuff that you can't control. You know, you have to feel like just listening to that. Like, it definitely made you grow. You know, where you're like, fuck it, I gotta figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And the players, like, with, I don't know if this is a question or not, but
No.
we, like, with us having the power, it kind of evens out the playing field. Like, coaches, whenever they want, they can leave, and you know, players will be stranded. But like, when players, now we have the power to leave and kind of, I guess, lead the coaches stranded.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that when Marcus with you when you and Marcus talked on his IG. Shout out to Marcus Kirkland.
Shout out Marcus, man.
boy, Marcus, strive above others.
But no, I remember you guys talking about that, and I commented under that too. But I agree with that. Like I do think because you're right. Like my younger brother, he was at Chico State, and then they fired that coach, and then the new head coach came in and basically said, "Yeah, I'm not keeping any of you."
Yeah.
And so it overall ended up working out for him because he ended up going to Warner Pacific in Portland, and you know, had a great season, met his wife, you know, living life out there, doing great. But I remember when that happened, he was devastated. You know what I mean? He thought he was set at Chico State, then all of a sudden gone. So no, I get it. What do you guys think is going to be the evolution of this though with the transfer portal and the NIL money and deal? We'll talk more about the NIL side, but where do you think this is going? You think they're going to start, or do you think, and when I mean they, I'm talking about like the NCAA, you think they're going to start putting punishments or restrictions on any of this, or
bring back the old rule where you got to sit out a year?
Yeah, you think that might happen, or is it just we just
Me
got to wait and see?
personally, I think something got to happen because these numbers are going up, like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there has to be some type of restrictions, honestly. Like I said, there's a lot of benefits. There are some negatives. But again, I feel like you said, it's so early
Yeah.
that they're kind of just still seeing how everything is going these next few years. Who knows? I mean, it took them finally, I don't know how many years we're getting the NIL.
Getting paid.
So this transfer portal thing, like I said, while it's happening for just like Zach and anybody else moving forward, you got to play the game within the game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And figure it out before it is all gone. So
You're right.
This is what I think. I think that in any other career, you take whatever you go to school for, right? Or if you don't want to go to school, like, you have the power to do whatever you want, whether that's work now, work later, go to school, change schools, all that stuff. So I just don't understand why when we talk about athletics that has to be regulated or that has to be changed or there has to be different. Like, at the end of the day, this is whatever player's career, and so they should have the power to either make good decisions for their career or destruct their career, just like any other student.
Yep.
If we still calling them students. And so I think with that, like, I think NIL is great. Obviously, at some point they'll put some regulations just because that's just, how it's going. They're still, quote unquote,
it's all
amateurs.
new. So I'm like, hey,
Right.
benefit it while you can. So, you know what I mean? I was watching, so someone I follow on Instagram, and I actually I'm going to speak on that a little later too, but I like what he's doing is Coach Barnes at Bakersfield. I like that brother. Really good dude. Obviously he did my IG show and all that stuff, and it's just really cool to have a Division I coach talk so candidly on social media, because it's understood coaches are on Twitter, right? A lot of them, they have an Instagram, but they're not really active like that on them. But he's like an active participant, you know what I mean? And he's literally just putting it out there. So there was one he did recently that I really enjoyed that I wanted you to speak on because I just had Kai the episode before you.
Shout out Kai.
Yeah,
man.
Shout out Kai. And it's really cool watching both you guys, graduate and have your careers and stuff. So, but he was talking about how hard it is to be a good basketball player, period. He's like, it's just hard to be good at basketball. Like, you have to accept that. Like, parents, kids, and yes, and height plays a factor. If you're short, that works against you. You just have to accept these things, right? And move forward. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a firm believer in that myself. Like, I talk about it. Mark, I think you've heard me say this in previous episodes. I'm a black business owner in a predominantly white area. That's reality. Like, I can't sit here and act like that's not real. I'm sure I can complain and say, well, this person could be racist, or this person, like, yeah, I can complain, but what does that do to help me?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's just me complaining, right? At the end of the day, I gotta, say fuck it and
Keep moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. So, he was speaking on how hard it is. I just want you to speak on your career, your collegiate career, your high school career, because I think that's the cool part when you graduate college. You get to kind of really sit back and reflect and go, damn, I did that. You know what I mean? And it's like, I really want kids, parents, even other coaches, organizations, whomever listens to the show or watching it on the YouTube, tell them how hard it is. You know what I mean? Just tell them your journey and how much work you had to put in.
Yeah, it's extremely tough. I mean, especially if you want to play at the highest levels. And people don't really understand. Like, people see the glitz and glamour. And,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But people don't understand, like, the hours. Like, when you talk, it's beyond a 9 to 5. Like, this is when you wake up at 6 a.m., like, it's what you're thinking about all day. This is everything you're doing is to prepare your body to perform the best. You in the gym, you're in the weight room, like, taking care of your body. Like, so it's literally a 24/7, like, thing.
Me and Kai said, not to cut you off, sorry, but I'm just saying, me and Kai literally said his episode, like, to be athletes like us, and like I said, I'm an old man now, but I'm just saying, like, to play at the collegiate level, professionally, whatnot, you got to have a screw loose. Kevin Garnett to me said it best. He said, something's got to be wrong with you. Trust me, like, we're not hardwired normal. Why other people want to go home and sleep, we're like, no, I want to go give some more shots up. Why people are like, damn, I'm tired, I've been doing this for 4 hours, we're like, no, I can do another 5. You know what I mean? Like, there's a madness to us, right? So I just thought that was a really cool point. I think that's something we all can agree on or understand. Like, I'm still involved in basketball. I don't even play it no more. So it's like, clearly there's an obsession there. So, please keep going. Speak on, your work and everything you had to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously growing up, everybody thinks they're the best player. And I think that a lot of times when you're hearing that you're the best player, reality doesn't really sit in with you. And so for me, like, that's all I'm hearing. You're this, you're that, you're this. And so, at some point, like, no matter how much I try to say, oh, no, it's not, but it's going to get to me, right? And so going to college and playing against some of the best players, like, in the world, right? These people from all over who, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was kind of eye-opening to me. And at the same time, I'm still hearing what everybody else is saying. You should be doing this, you should be doing that. So I'm thinking that. But I think I didn't begin to start having success until I sat back and was like, okay, well, maybe I'm really not that good. Like, maybe I need to really sit down and really get better and really, like, lock in if this is what I want to do, because I'm clearly not getting it done, right? And they can say, oh, you should be doing this, oh, you're better than so-and-so, but at the end of the day, if I'm not producing, then I'm really not, right? So just taking that perspective, and, like, it's people from all over the world who want, like, James Akinjo, he works out at Guss and stuff with us, and I had a conversation with him a couple summers ago, and he's like, just think about it, like, if we're, he's like, this is why I can't really have no friends, like, in this hoop business, and he said, because we all want the same thing. So if I want what you want, what he wants,
at some point we're gonna compete.
How can we be really cool if we all want the same thing? Like, it's so many people out there that want what you want or want what you got. So
funny thing you mentioned him, just on a sidebar. Me and his dad played high school. James Akinjo Sr. And
shout out James, man.
And we got into a fight in middle school.
Of course.
We got into a fight in middle school. So that was just a funny little side note. 7th grade. Yeah, me and his dad squared up. So that was funny. That's how old I am. Like James Akinjo Sr. Yeah. That's hilarious. Wow. No, man. I think you bring up valid points, because, you know, you guys are walking the same journey, right? And you're trying to get to the same destination. Do you have any, for any kids that are listening, or do you just have any straightforward tips or advice to those guys or girls, I should say?
Yeah, I mean, accept the journey, accept the good, accept the bad. Don't get too high, don't get too low. The same stuff you hear all the time, but, like, if you really accept what's going on, you really take the time to sit back and think about, you know what I'm saying, like, where you want to be, but where you're at, be realistic, like, all that goes into play. Being real is, like, that's the toughest thing for anybody, not just hoopers. But if you can be real, if you could think about, like, yourself, see yourself from different perspectives, I think that's what helped me.
Okay. And then any tips for parents?
Parents, be involved, but stay out the way.
I think that's a good advice right there. I can't say that enough, but, you know, I'm just the AAU coach. They just think, like, you know, I'm just being I don't know what I'm talking about. But
I think on parents, like, my parents growing up, they were super involved. They were on me, but I think as I got older, I really had to sit down with them and be like, look, like, I know y'all love me, right? I know you guys want the best for me, but, like, honestly, you guys haven't gone through what I've gone through, so you don't know, right? And so they were, I mean, every game they yelling, shoot, do this. But once we had that talk, they kind of were like, no, it makes sense. Like, okay. So they kind of sat back and obviously still cheer, obviously still my number one fans and all that, but it was from a different lens. It's like not I'm right because I'm your parent. It's let's figure this out together, and let's, you can teach me because I'm in it. So
when that happened? What age were you? Where were you at your basketball career when you had that talk, and how did that change your performance? If it did,
I say between my sophomore junior year
of high school.
And
do you feel like, did anything change how you performed, or was it still the same? Like, was having that pressure not there anymore? Do you feel like that helped you, or?
I mean, it was an adjustment for sure.
Okay.
Just because, like, growing up, everybody wanted to please their parents.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So kind of having them step back and being like, okay, you got it. Like, you know who to, it was an adjustment. But once I figured it out, then it helped me kind of shoot, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool you said that, because, again, the big premise of the show is I want parents to hear this, you know what I mean? So they understand, like, because he knows as well as I do, and he's mainly on the training side, but, parent, and I try to always look at things from both sides. I get it to a degree. Yes, you're spending money, parents, but that's not how sports work. Like, they feel like, oh, I spend this money.
Instant.
Yeah. exactly. Like I should get this product because I paid for it right now. It's like that's why I call it investing, right? You're investing. You're not. What I use the analogy, at least with my parents, when we have these conversations, because I have them so frequently. I've come up with different analogies, but the best one I can give is watching your kid progress in basketball from literally like, let's say 3rd grade until they graduate high school is like watching a stock every single day. If you watch a stock, I don't care what stock it is you buy in. You could buy stock in Disney, you could buy stock in whatever. If you watch it every day, this is like stock marketing 101 in case people don't understand. It goes like this. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Some days it's, woo, man, I'm making a bunch of, oh my God, I'm about to, I'm about to lose all my money. Like, but if you sit back, because this has been proven by Warren Buffett and all these stock market people listening on YouTube or brokers will know what the hell I'm talking about. But the S&P 500, which is like the main stock that most people use, Warren Buffett and a bunch of millionaires, rich people use, no, the overall, if you look at it within a 10 or 20 year span, it always goes up. On the day-to-day, it goes like this. But years and years and years down the line, it's always doing this. And I tell my parents, that is a basketball player.
Yeah.
If they're putting in the work, if they have the right coaching, the right training, it's always going to steady go up. And you're going to see it 10 years from now. If you look at it every single day, though, it goes all over the fucking place. You're going to go insane. You know what I mean? So I love that analogy. Yeah, that's why I try to tell parents, like, you can't look at this stock every day.
Yeah.
Just bring your kid in the session, go sit in the fucking car, and keep doing that for about 5 years. And then we'll see then we'll see, if you have an issue or if there needs to be an adjustment, right?
And even with that, like, I feel like a lot of parents obviously try to live through their kids, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I think at the same time, like, when we're talking about being realistic, if we're looking at numbers, like, majority of the kids aren't going to
play college. Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, I know.
So if we're realistic, then let's just, as a parent, obviously,
it's true,
be for your kids' dreams and all that, but like, be realistic in knowing that, well, by the numbers, little so and so might not do it.
It's a very small chance.
What life lessons and what
exactly
can this journey really teach us?
And there's nothing wrong with being just a great varsity player. You know what I mean? Like, you could have a great high school career and that's it, and that's okay. I tell parents that is okay too.
Yeah. Because
the things they'll learn through the journey of hoop and the high school is life lessons.
It's so much, man.
You know what I mean? Basketball is life. Steve Kerr is shit. He's better with words than me, but Steve Kerr always comes up with those analogies of, you know what I mean? Like basketball's life and all that.
He got that from Phil Jackson, Popovich, you know what I'm saying? So he has the knowledge. It's true, man. It's all life.
Okay, well, let's get straight into hot takes now.
Chart it up from the YBA.
Not that one. There we go. That button. So, let's talk about NIL. This is just a personal reflection of something I was thinking about the other day, and you guys give me your input on this. Looking at someone like Angel Reese. She's a millionaire now, basically. She's, Shout
out Angel Reese.
Shout out to her big time. Yeah, you're right. Definitely shout out to her.
Killing the game.
That's tight.
Watch her, man. She out there doing her thing, man. And it's like, what I was thinking though of, now that you potentially have collegiate athletes that can be anywhere from thousandaires to millionaires, right? I think that can be very dangerous in terms of their actual physical safety, because I think that's something that I don't know if campuses are making measures for. And I don't even know if the athletes are mature enough to think about this. For instance, this is where I give you an example. So I went to college in Illinois, right? It's safe to say, y'all know Chicago's a dangerous place, correct? Right. So Chicago, it's pretty rough. Even a place like USC. USC is a great campus, beautiful campus. Go Trojans. My mom graduated from there. But if you go 3 or 4 blocks off that campus,
It's
you,
real.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So let's say you are one of those brothers off campus, and you know Angel Reese is 3 blocks away from you. You know that, right? Because she's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like Angel Reese or any entrepreneur player out there making millions, because they always, they broadcast this information. Buying new cars, looking at the social media. Remember how people were getting robbed from social media and stuff? My thing is, if Kim Kardashian could get got in Paris, who the hell's going to protect these kids on campus?
Yeah.
That's kind of a nuanced thing I was thinking about, because, again, this is just the way my brain works, but I want these kids to make money, but I also want them to be safe.
Yeah.
And that's something I think is dangerous. So I guess my question to you guys is, on top of just reflecting this, because, again, like, you got the Pookies and Ray Rays sitting across down the street from USC, and they're like, hey, yo, bro, like, Angel Reese made like $3 million. Hey, man, let's go to the campus with some backpacks on and just find where, because, it ain't hard to find the superstar athletes. Go, hey, where's she at? Like, what dorm, or, where the party at? What dorm she said? And you next thing you know, you hear about her getting robbed. You know what I mean? Now, God forbid that happens. I hope nothing like that ever happens. But that's just one thing I foresee that could be dangerous at a college campus. Because, again, I know there's security there, but they ain't really security there like that. You know what I mean? Like, I look at Sac State. Sac State's a big campus. Like, you can walk in the middle of the night and just be alone, you know what I mean, in certain spots. You gotta have things to protect these young, rich people. So my question, I guess, overall, is it the school's responsibility, or should it be the athlete's responsibility? Or should it be the basketball program or the tennis program or whoever is getting the deal? Is it their responsibility? What do you guys think? I know it's a deep question, but
I feel like if you making that much money, like, I already know Bronny gonna have like 2 bodyguards wherever he go.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I feel like that's what you got to do, especially if you make millions. You're not like the average kid who can just walk around and go to the cafeteria and eat with everybody.
Yeah.
Especially like what you said, just in the world that we live in.
There's some desperate people out there. They don't care. You know what I mean? They don't care.
So I would say that's probably what they would do. And I'm assuming Angel Reese, when she go back to LSU, she better have some bodyguards with her. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. Like, buy a bodyguard or 2.
Yeah.
You got the money for it.
Right. True. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I think that, and I also think that just like any like person who really has all that money, they don't really go where everybody else goes. So obviously you got to go to class and stuff, but
So you're saying they should move different too. So it should be like a combination of both security and
100%.
that person should move different, right?
yeah, you should know that I shouldn't go out late at night, especially if I'm at USC where, you know what I'm saying, by myself. Like, it's just certain things that you don't, and it's certain things that like people shouldn't do regardless if you have money or not, because you can get robbed. Like,
you're right. It's just when you that was just the nuanced thing I was thinking, because usually when you make your money, you're already out of college, right? Or you make it to the league, and now you're away from all that. But now you got people like Angel and probably other women athletes for sure who are gonna postpone leaving school so they can make as much money as they can. Exactly. And so and that is kind of different between, I would say, women's and men's sport and basketball now. Yeah. And let's be real, I know, controversial take right here, but men, generally speaking, are stronger than women. And yes, there's dudes out there that will go and try to hurt these people. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just something I was thinking about and wanted to put out there on the show. Yeah. My second thing is there is this one hits hard for me because there's a cultural thing. I think it's a combination of culture. I think it's a combination of culture, music, being black men, just all of it. And with the social media, the younger athletes, it's guns and violence in athletes. Like, there's just been so much that's happened within these past few months of watching it. And obviously, one of your players was obviously closely related or closely reflecting on one. I'm gonna bring that one up along with it too. But you have well, have you guys heard? Or did you guys hear about the Mikey Williams situation? Mm-hmm. Did you hear anything about that, Zach?
Maybe I don't know.
He's Mikey Williams is AAU superstar and high school superstar. He's facing gun charges.
Oh yeah.
Allegedly he pulled a gun out and I don't know if he shot it, or allegedly he did, and he's facing I think 4 to 8 years in prison. Deleted his social media accounts. His scholarship was pulled. It's just one bad decision, right? And let's just keep it a buck. We know. I don't know this kid personally, but I know young brothers like him. I know. When you're at that level, you sometimes feel invincible, and that like we're talking about, we'll get into Ja Morant because that's a more extreme case. There's this weird need as brothers and athletes to prove their alphaness or prove they're I'm from the streets, I'm you know what I mean, and I don't get it. I don't know where it comes from. I know with the kid from New Mexico, Mike. Mike Peak. He was acquitted, thank goodness. I don't know if you even heard about that. His player went to New Mexico, but
Jaden Alexander. New Mexico State.
This kid Mike. It was self-defense, but he basically got set up, and he was about to get jumped, and he shot and killed somebody. He had to delete somebody basically for self-defense. So. But it's just so strange. Our athletes are getting involved in all this dumb shit, just being honest with you. And I just wonder where it comes from. You know what I mean? You guys have any thoughts, reflections on that?
Social media, YouTube.
Yeah, I think music has a big play in that. But I also think that, at the end of the day, kids, young men are young men. And so some of them going to make stupid decisions, right? And they just happen to be basketball players. They just happen to be in the spotlight. Mm-hmm. But I think obviously when they do have that spotlight, everything's magnified, but people make dumb decisions like this. As sad as it is, the reality is people make dumb decisions like this every day.
I guess just I don't. And again, I know I'm from a different generation, right? I graduated high school 2001, right? So, and I grew up in Oakland. There was guns and shit around my neighborhood. I'm not going to act like there wasn't, but athletes didn't grab them. You know what I mean? You had homies around you. You know what I'm saying?
And the people in the hood was like, nah, stay away.
Yeah. So when I'm hearing about Mikey Williams allegedly has a firearm, how the fuck did he get the firearm? You know what I mean? That's the question in my head more than anything. I know guns are everywhere, but usually it's like someone's gonna be like, nah, bro, what you doing? No, you don't do this. You know what I mean? Or even what compelled him to the point where he felt like, I had to do this because again, I think it happened at a party or something like that, and dumb decisions. I agree with you on, but it's just this need to it's this need or compulsion to commit violence is what I question. It's not like they out here doing dumb pranks or something. No, they or doing some dumbass TikTok trend. It's the violence is what I don't understand, and I guess I don't know. It bothers me.
I feel like. Like what Zach was saying, I think for sure, number one, I would say you put in the social media and the music, you know what I'm saying? And then for me, the inner circle, the family and the friends, even the blood, you know what I'm saying? To where I feel like, I was just watching this thing on Scoot Henderson and his parents and his circle. It was just family, blood family, where they have a gym, they own this gym, and they develop kids around the area. Like he grew up in that, and of course his dream was to get to the NBA, but it's his approach. Like he has structure, he has family, his circle, everybody's. I guess in a way, it's like they're all about him doing it the right way. Yeah. And then you got some other players who are at that basketball level, like Scoot Henderson in a way, but their inner circle, their friends and family, are just all about well, I guess you can, in a way, like they don't have the right approach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're basing it off, they're just riding off the talent, but not understanding that somebody so young, so fragile mentally needs the right guidance, even if, you know, they have this talent. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it can go, like, you know, Bronny has been raised since day one how to approach this the right way.
Yeah.
Compared to like John Morant, whose dad, or his family, and again, I'm not judging, but like LeBron has been through this, you know what I'm saying? So to have maybe an NBA father, Stephen Curry,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you have, look at their background, look at their inner circle, look at their family. I feel like that will probably tell you a lot of answers of why some of these kids, you know, the Mikeys, the Jaws, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're talented, but who's around them, you know? And I feel like that's the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? Because like he said, like the world is the world. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of fucked up shit. You know, so you got to have a good circle around you to get through this crazy world. So that's my take on that.
Do you think there's just in our culture, you know, and obviously I'm speaking more Black culture, is there this weird conception of, you know, if you grew up good home, good environment, you know, you got to prove yourself? I know it's out there. I guess my lens is so different. I just don't, you know, I don't see that as much, but I
prove yourself as
like trying to prove you're a tough guy or prove, you know, you from the streets. Like for instance, I give you like a hip hop example. You know, Chris Brown, right? He talks about like, you know, he's affiliated with the Bloods and they let him kind of slide with that because of how famous he is. Or Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Lil Wayne has a bachelor's degree and I think was working on a master's, but he was talking about he's a Pyru and all this stuff. Like, you know, it's and in that hip hop image, it's understood that they're kind of basically acting to a degree. But I'm thinking I feel basketball players in that are starting to kind of absorb that stupidity to a degree. You know what I mean? Where they're trying to reflect like, oh, we about that life too. You know what I mean? What's crazy though is because if you really look at the NBA guys who were actually about that life, DeMar DeRozan is notoriously known for being affiliated with the Crips. Zach Randolph, who was a GD, Derrick Rose, you know, in Chicago. They're some of the most like chillest guys, like
Low key.
You know what I mean? Super low key, because they're like, bro, we want to get out of the trenches. Like we ain't doing nothing to fuck that up. But then again, you circle back to a Mikey Williams, John Morant, who grew up very famous. Well, not so much Ja, but for sure Mikey, and then grew up in good homes, good environments. But now they're walking around with guns and trying to fight and all this stuff. So I don't know, man. It's I can't put my finger if it's a cultural thing, if it's a hip hop thing, if it's because they think the girls will like it. Like I don't know, man. It's just weird. My heart goes out to those guys, and I hope
Figure it out.
yeah, yeah, and any of these young guys, you know, because like you could circle back with like Gilbert Arenas when he did his bringing a gun to the NBA locker room and was basically having a Mexican standoff. Like obviously that wasn't very smart either, but it's just weird. But it's just weird seeing our brothers make these kind of decisions. It's sad, you know, more than anything. So that was my only thing on that. Did you guys have any more input on that?
Nah, I guess the best thing is just to, you know, have these conversations and try to help the ones coming up, man.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. Learn from what everybody else is kind of going through and use that.
So on the flip side of it, I did want to talk about this point. The person we're talking about is a football player, but I don't know if you guys saw that in recent news or heard the story of Travis Rudolph. He was fighting a 2-year case of you know, potentially spending, I believe, 15 years to life in prison. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown if you didn't hear the story, or if you're watching or listening, I'll give you guys a quick rundown. He was an ex-NFL player, was playing pro in Canada, was dating a woman. The woman basically lied to, like, he wanted to end things. She basically lied to her brothers and his friends and told them that he was beating her. So naturally, her brother and those friends came over to the house. Luckily, all this was recorded on the Ring door camera. That's why I suggest to a lot of you young brothers or athletes or men in general, get cameras around your home. It could save your life, right? So basically, they found all this out because they did it in a group text, and they took the perpetrator's phone. Fast forward, these 4 to 5 guys come to Travis's house to confront him. They brought guns. Right. She literally in the text said basically shoot his shit up.
Sheesh.
She told them to basically kill him because he didn't want to be with her anymore. Crazy, right? And so they came over because they're under the guise of, and it came out that she actually was hitting him. He didn't touch her.
Wow.
She was hitting him. But because he didn't want to be with her, because he was working on going back to the NFL and whatnot, she got mad. And so just out of her anger, she did all this. And so basically what happened, a scuffle broke out, ran into the house, grabbed his AR rifle and killed one of the guys. Damn. He in self-defense, he killed one of them and shot at the other 3. They got in the car, dispersed, ran. And then they took him to court because she and they conspired to say that he was trying to murder them. Yeah, it's crazy. And he was acquitted. He got off. The jury found him not guilty. And the shitty part is, though, of all this, nothing's going to happen to her. She orchestrated all this, and nothing's going to happen to her. So I'm going to play just a quick 2-minute video, and I just want your guys' reaction to this because I just think it's relevant because just being real, young athletes, your age or younger, you guys are targets. You just are, especially by the opposite sex and by a lot of just haters and people in general. So I think I do want to talk about this side of the sports world and, just how fucked up it is. But I'll play this video for you guys real quick.
This is literally the cheapest way to get hotels. I just got one for $3. This is how you do it.
Get through this damn ad.
There were no shortage of tears, prayers, and hugs today in the Palm Beach County Courthouse.
Your life is in 12 jurors' hands. That's a scary feeling. So definitely was nervous, and we definitely pray a lot. We have unwavering faith. So
Travis Rudolph cleared on the first-degree murder and 3 first-degree attempted murder charges against him. The case stems back to a deadly shooting in April 2021 after an argument with Rudolph's alleged girlfriend. Rudolph's older sister, Tierney Coleman, says the key evidence in this case was her family's testimony, also applauding the defense attorneys.
I think that Mark did a really, really good job exposing the truth and allowing the jury and the world to see what really happened.
Rudolph says more than anything, he looks forward to his life getting back to normal.
And I finally got my freedom back. I can get back to my life. Man.
Thank you, God. Thank you for just making this day happen. And I love you.
We wanted to reach out to both sides and heard back from the state attorney's office, their spokesperson, saying this, and I quote, "Although we may disagree with the jury's verdict, it's their job to determine from the facts whether a defendant is guilty or not guilty. We respect the jury's decision. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families in this case." Reporting from the Palm Beach County Courthouse, Chris Gilmore, WPTV.
So obviously that's a quick rundown, but yeah. It got found.
That close to
It's crazy.
2 years fighting to not go to prison, and all due to a ex-girlfriend being mad at him and lying. Like, any thoughts on that crazy ass story?
What you got, Zach? What you think?
I just think it's crazy. I mean, I just think the world is so broken, man. The world is so hurting and seeking so much, right? That I mean, for me being like into my faith like crazy, I just think that it's just so much that people want and it's so much that people desire that they are not gonna find, man. And so it's sad to see stuff like this. It's sad to hear stuff. It's sad that this happened to this gentleman, but it's also sad that, you know, this girl would even feel like that's the right way to go about it, you know? So my thoughts and my prayers is out for all them, man. It's just crazy.
Man, what any words on your end, Mark?
I mean, like I said, it still goes back to like what I said, especially when it comes to dating or who you have in your circle, right? Who you associate with. I mean, in a way, I guess, who you really love, you know, and understanding that. But that's, like I said, that's scary. He don't even got control over that. You know, like he was put in that position because she decided, because out of emotion, to put him through that. So luckily, everything worked out. You know, but yeah, again, I mean, that's scary.
I agree. I agree with both you guys. I think that woman should be put in jail. That's just my overall take. Like, and you know, for people who want to check out more details on the case, please, I suggest you go check it out. When it caught my interest, I was like, wow. So I saw all the details. Like, nothing's happening to her. Like, it literally got found out in court that she basically put out a hit on this man and she could just walk home free. Like, nah, it's just doesn't sit right with me. And I don't care what the gender is. Shit, they could have been a gay couple. I don't care. Like, you can't orchestrate ending someone's life and then just go home.
Ending it more than like ending his career and ending his literal life.
like
karma.
Like, so, you know, we'll see what happens with that. Maybe he'll countersue, maybe something like that. But again, these are the type of topics athletes have to deal with. And I think if we don't have any type of platform where we're talking about it, it's a disservice to help the next person or the next athlete, right? That's why, again, that's why, like, I try to make it clear even on this show, and I know me and Mark say it all the time, that this ain't judging, but it does need to be talked about. When things like this are public, you can learn from it. So hopefully someone else doesn't do it. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, sometimes if you're put like the Ja circumstance, when you do that twice and put it out there for the public to see, well, then yes, you open yourself up to that judgment, right? I know when I say the things I say on this show on the internet, there's going to be people that might disagree, and they're going to say their shit in the comment. I think they deserve that right, but I can't then be upset from me putting my opinion out there and then acting like, well, no, you can't counter it. You can't say anything back to it. If I put it out there, I expect that in return. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Just young guys, be smarter. Be smarter who you date. Be smarter who's around you. You know, you can't truly know everybody's heart. You can't know everybody's intentions, but just mitigate it and do the best you can. And you know, I pray that none of my kids or anybody are ever in that type of crazy situation. So, well, moving on from that, I want to talk about some current events with AAU. My just on my reflection on my side, my Adidas contract's going good so far. My 17U, and shout out to Ryan from Touch Shooting, man. Been great working with you, brother. We've had a lot of good conversations. The freshman team and the 17U team both made it to the 3SB side, and we are going to go to South Carolina. So I'm going to give ourselves an applause for that. So
that's big time.
Yeah, man. We're doing our thing. We're hoping to go out there and hopefully get a couple wins, if not take the title. And I'm trying to bring something to Sacramento. I was talking to Dwayne Childs about it. Shout out to you, Dwayne. My ultimate goal, and Zach, this is where I think you can chime in too, is I want to bring truly a top level shoe circuit team to Sacramento. Right, we don't have one. In my time here in the AAU circuit, our side, I haven't seen one. Maybe there has been one. I just haven't seen it. And I mean, like, when I mean true shoe circuit, I mean like the Nike YBLs, the Team Lillards, the Jalen Green, where like Adidas is giving you money and you go get the best kid you can. You get free gear. I mean, something like that in Sacramento. Because when I see a kid like an Andre Stojakovic, for example, go play for the Compton Magic. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at the Compton Magic. I'm not mad at the moves they made, because ultimately it worked out for him. But it is discouraging or disheartening that we don't have anything in Sacramento for a kid like Andre. You know what I'm saying? So, because I used to take pride in my city going against other cities. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think the problem is Sacramento's so divided. Rockland, Sacramento, Elk Grove, the whole area. I just think it's so divided. Me and Dwayne were talking about everyone coming together. So, you know, I'm just imagine if you really pulled the best 10, 11, 12 juniors and seniors, put them on one team and go out there and kill everybody. You know, that's what I want to bring to Sac. So just,
That'd be sick.
Yeah, just
that would be great.
Curious what you guys think about something like that.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No. Well, I was gonna say. I remember which I didn't know that kid Jared McCain. I didn't know he was from Sacramento.
Yeah.
And for him to leave Sacramento,
exactly.
that right there, I feel, is your point. You know what I'm saying? He went to go to LA to get more exposure. Yeah. And he's homegrown from here. So, I just wanted to bring that up. But what were you gonna say, Zach?
I think. First PHPS. They kind of had that going for a while. They had all the best guys and stuff. But the thing with, like, Sacramento is everybody thinks that they better than Sacramento. And so I think, like with PHPS, I ran with PHPS for a little bit. They had Jordan Brown. Brown ran with them for his whole career. Mm-hmm. And he was McDonald's All-American. He was top 100, all that.
That's another kid we brought up when Andre was here, like a Jordan Brown, to be able to sustain those kids. I mean, like Coleman Hawkins, he was at Antelope High School. I'm watching you younger guys be so talented and so great, and it kind of sucks on I'm just speaking from the AAU coaches side to watch you guys not represent where we're at. You know what I mean? That's all.
And I think I would have loved to do something like that. Like, even with PHPS, we tried to – for my last AAU tournament, the idea was, because we had an 8th grade team that we played with, and it was like me, Jordan, Stude Elias King, Trayshawn Smooth, like we were loaded. Mm-hmm. And after we finished our last 8th grade tournament, the idea was our very last tournament ever of AAU, we're gonna all come play together and just kind of finish it that way.
That's sick.
And some of us played, some of us didn't, but I think an encouragement as trainers and AAU directors, I think the encouragement would be like those Compton Magic teams that these guys are going to play for, they've been established. They've been, kind of doing it. So I think if you just continue to grow your brand and get the local kids that you can, right? And the more that you produce whatever.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Then down the line, the kids growing up will be like, oh yeah, I want to go play for You know what I'm saying? Because that's usually how it goes. They're like, oh, no, I want to play. So-and-so played with Compton Magic, or so-and-so played with whatever Team Lillard, so I want to go out there and play with them. But if we can build that here, which I think eventually it will, because Sacramento is growing like crazy. Sure. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah, and that's – I'm trying to be, I guess, to use the analogy, I'm trying to be the tip of the spear. I'm trying to create that. I'm fighting that machine, right? I was talking to Lo about it.
Shout out, man. Shout out Coach Lo. That's what I do. He told me, hold on, my bad.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
He told me to say, shout out Coach Lo, man. He taught me everything I know. That's my big bro.
Shout out to Lo, man. No, we were talking about that because, obviously he was he understands the AAU side just as good as I do. And we were talking about that, and he's given me. We've had a lot of good one-on-one conversations where I've been able to talk to him, and very candidly, and he says, Chris, you're fighting a machine. He said that's what you're fighting. You're fighting the machine and trying to crack a glass ceiling. And he said, unfortunately, though, on the back end, because you're the tip of the spear, everyone else is going to come after you because they want to be where you're at. He said the guys that are like doing what you're doing at like a peak level, they're going to respect you. And he's talking like KP from Arsenal or Joey from Lake Show, or he's talking to those guys who are like doing the things that I'm doing, but they're in their respective areas. He's like, you're trying to do it in SAC, and there's so many programs. There's a lot of talented kids, but everybody wants to kind of be where you're where you're trying to achieve, not where I'm at, because that sounds egotistical, but just what I'm trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. And he said the difference between you, and again, these are Lowe's words, not mine. He just said the difference between you and a lot of them is you actually have the resources to do it.
That's a big part.
Yeah, he said you have a gym right next door. You have access to 11 courts. You have your own facility. You've created a platform. This podcast. You have a social media presence. He's like you have all the cornerstones in place. He said, but the key is like you have to win. Mm-hmm. Not only do you have to have all that in place, you have to actually go out there and beat teams. Yeah. So my 17U beat Jalen Green Elite, and that was a huge win for us because again, we're a gold circuit team. We're Adidas Gold. Gold teams aren't supposed to be able to beat 3SB teams, especially an NBA sponsored team, right? We beat them, and we beat them, pretty decisively. It wasn't like it was a 2-point game. We beat them by like 15, 16 points. Okay. So that was a huge win for us. And they got great players on that team. They're coached great, so no knock on them. We just were the better team that day. And so I think I'm getting a lot of attention. I do think Adidas is looking my way, but
speak it to existence.
Yeah. Well, but we'll see. We'll see how it happens. I guess that was just the last part of that. What I was saying is, how and if and is it even possible? Do you think, again, you being a younger, still kind of in that active environment player, do you think Sacramento basketball culture will ever really work together?
Yeah, I think it's rising. I think all it will really take is just one kid. Like if one kid just said no to all those big shoe programs and stayed here and was like, I'm gonna rock out here, I think like naturally people are followers, no matter how people try to say, oh, Ali. Like at the end of the day, we want to, at some capacity in our lives, we're followers. And so if that one kid, or maybe he get him and his homeboys who's also good, like if that happens, then it can change quick. And I think Sac State is a big part of that as well, because if Sac State at like the brand kind of, ups what they got going on, which they are, shout out DP, shout out Lowe's, Zep, all those guys, Coach Hayes, Tyson, with them turning things around over there, like with a kid like me who is from here, trying to kind of make things shake over there, I think that will really help bring people back here. Because the Bay Area, the reason why we go to the Bay Area is because like we think everything is out, we think comp is there, everything. Yeah. But like people don't really think, like Lo was saying, you have facility, you have all these resources here. So like, why would I drive an hour and a half, 2 hours if I can come here, get the work in, and do the same stuff? So.
And on my side of it, the biggest thing the hurdle that I run into is cost. And that's going to be, part of the last part of what we talk about is cost, because people don't want to pay, right? And it's just reality. They don't want to pay any money for this. And two, because they believe those platforms can give them access to something that I can or we can't, right? Even whether it's true or not, they just think that's what I've run into, especially when it comes to YBA and doing this so long, is like people have gone against us. This AAU club's been around 20 years. You know what I mean? For an AAU club to be around 20 years, it's like unheard of. You know what I mean? So because of that, there's a lot of history there. But there's also a lot of we're the Duke. We're Duke of Sacramento, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we win, we're structured, we have a good infrastructure, all that stuff, but people love to hate us. You know what I mean? And I know I catch a lot of that hate just because, again, I understand the position I'm in. Like, I'm trying to do something for the forefront of the community, and there's just going to be people that don't like the way I do things or the way I move or the way I talk. I don't live my life making sure people like me. I just live my life trying to make sure I respect everybody. That's my philosophy, right? It's just me and Dwayne we had a one-on-one conversation about trying to figure out how to bring everybody together. And, Marcus talks about that all the time too, like trainers working together and coaches working together. But I just don't know if or how it'll be possible. You know, I think you got to pick and choose those who really can do it. Like me and Ryan have worked really good together this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and you, Mark, known you a long time. We've worked really good together. But me and Marcus, like, you know, but
Yeah. That's where it starts, though.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah,
That's where it
Bracey, you know, at Rampage, like those guys. So
Keep building.
yeah, that's the plan. I wanted to circle back with the last couple things. For one, Zion Williams, man, he's another case study. Between him and PJ Washington, man, that 2019 draft class has got some really some interesting off court issues.
I ain't hear this.
You didn't hear about what happened to Zion? Oh man.
man.
So Zion,
That's crazy with Zion, man.
is having a kid. Congratulations to that. He's having a daughter, I believe. And the woman he's having it with is a, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it on YouTube. She's an adult actress. I may be a former one now, but she's an adult actress, but she's older as well. I want to say she's 30 something, and I think Zion's 22.
My age, 23.
22, 23, yeah, and it's similar like that with LaMelo. The woman he's dating is like I believe 33, 34, and I think what's LaMelo now 20.
21, 22.
Yeah, he's young too, and then PJ Washington. Infamously with Brittany Renner, and he was 22 or 21 or 23 at the time, and she was 29, I believe. So there seems to be an alleged predatory way that some of these, you know, adult actresses, OnlyFans workers, these 304s are out here scouting out these young prospects, in the 2019 class is damn sure getting caught in all of it. That 2019 class got scouted out really well. And so not only did Zion have his baby coming, there was another adult actress who blasted him out on Twitter.
That's cold.
That he
said everything.
Yeah,
like what
everything.
They be doing.
It was yeah.
Nasty.
See, that's why I'm glad I don't be on Twitter. That's why I can't do Twitter. I can't do TikTok, bro.
She put Zion on blast. I'm about, I don't even want to say the shit that she said.
Bro, I'm gonna say a little bit. It was
put him on blast.
Yeah, she was. She said like, "I let you spit in my mouth. I let you."
That's
bro,
enough right there, like,
bro. Bro,
no
it was
on
like
Twitter.
it's all over Twitter.
ESPN talking about it. Gilbert Arenas talking about it.
Bro, and Gilbert, you know, he no chill Gil, man. He gonna speak his mind, but it's like, yo, what's going on with these kids? Like, and I mean, like I said, they're only a few years younger than you.
My age,
they are your age. It's like, I don't look, man.
Sound like they living life.
Yeah.
This is what I think. I think, first of all, to each his own.
Yes.
Like, if that's not how I get down, but I mean, I think that even going back, like, men have always, like, old white rich men have always kind of got the, you know, the
right
model younger women, and I think that's been happening. I just think now with social media, I don't think that this is a new thing.
No,
I think now with social media, everything's broadcast.
No, and I agree with you. Let's keep it a buck, man. Let's keep, because I even did a fucking whole podcast talking about this. Like professional athletes, fuck. Like they have that. Professional athletes have access to women all over the world, levels of hot women that we'll never truly know about, which is fine. It's just an unspoken thing we all know is true. Pro athletes, boxers, MMA fighters, like they get we know that, period. Like, let's just, you know, if y'all watching, if you listening, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to get into super elaborate detail, but you know how athletes can get down. I've kicked it with many Sacramento Kings back in the day, and like we know that professional athletes get attention, right? We'll call it that. They get attention. What's become, well, what's this new trend though of like basically older women pursuing these younger guys. Men basically get shamed for this all the time. They'd be like, oh, you hear about like the age gap dating, right? You hear about, generally speaking, by the way, men are usually older than their wives. You know what I mean? That's just usually normal. Because typically women like older guys, right? But there's this like shaming culture of like if you're a 30-year-old guy dating a 22-year-old girl, right? They're like, oh, that's ugly, that's pedophilia, blah 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 blah. That's grape, like whatever, right? But now no one speaks on the reverse of this. That's my thing. I'm looking at that reflection of like, you have these older women, very attractive women, by the way. Not going to sit here and act like they don't look good, because they do. But they're actively pursuing younger men like this, because the reality is this. Me being 40, you being 20, I know you're not 20, but I'm just saying, like, I have more life experience than you. I have more knowledge in the way the world works than you, period. You know what I mean? Right, wrong, or indifferent. So isn't this kind of predatory with these older, more mature women going after these younger guys?
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah. This is a tough subject, but I'm sorry.
It's hard to judge. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, if you love somebody, you love somebody. Age don't really mean anything. Again, I think because of this, like what Zach was saying, because of social media, and how anything can be a meme, or how a lot of things that we feel that may be non-traditional, that have been going on forever,
yes,
are now just out there.
They're being
really
exposed
daily. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, and yes, and especially with that thing we were just listening to, you know what I'm saying? Like, people got a lot of different agendas, bad and good. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It can go both ways. I don't want to say that if somebody's older that they can't be with somebody younger. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there's levels, of course. Yes,
right,
but,
of course.
There's legal and illegal.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
But from a standpoint of what you're talking about being predatory, from a standpoint of, okay, well, I'm going to try to use my social media presence and my physical to reach out to this $1 million NBA player and see if he takes the bait.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if they have bad intentions. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's a different world that we live in. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I just, I speak on it because I don't think it's spoken on at all. We'll talk about men, seeking out younger women all day, like the whole Leonardo DiCaprio debate that they have. Have you ever heard of that one? So
what happened here?
So nothing happened, but what they I'm surprised y'all hear about this. So Leonardo's like 40-something years old now, right? If they actually grafted his dating pattern,
oh shit!
When women turn 25, he breaks up with them.
Oh shit! What?
He's done that for about the last 15 years.
That's funny.
When a woman turns 25, he ends the relationship.
Oh.
But then of course the debate was like, because they're trying to say, well, Leonardo DiCaprio's, that's based in, pedophilia and all this stuff. Like, he just likes younger. It's like, no, he likes younger girls than him, obviously, but they're still adults.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You know what I mean? They're still, like, he's not meeting them. He generally meets them when they're like 21, 22, 21, and they date them because he's never been married.
Sounds like a fetish or something.
Yeah, but he
got something going on.
But I'm just saying, but to be fair, typically older men do like younger women, but we're not speaking on the fact that older women are actively pursuing younger, naive men. Because I'm going to be real, Zion Williams seems kind of like a naive kid in life. Like, yeah, he's a great superstar athlete, but have you seen him in interviews and stuff? Like, he just seems naive. He just seems like,
he's a kid.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He don't.
He's a kid.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He doesn't seem like someone who's really picking up on, okay, this chick trying to get over on
I
me.
always say this. Everybody, I'm a big Kobe fan, so I'll see videos of Kobe at 19
Yeah.
acting the way he acts, you know, and of course everybody don't have that mentality or that mindset where at that young of an age their focus is just basketball. And with the world that we live in with social media, like I said, even, you know, like I saw like Tyler Hero's baby mama, you know, is an Instagram model,
Instagram model.
you know, and he got her right when he got drafted, you know, and who knows, you know, it looks like they in love, but like I said, man, you can get access to anybody now.
I mean,
You
yeah.
know what I'm
Well,
saying?
like Paul George, remember he ended up marrying his baby mama, but at first, you know, it was a stripper that got pregnant by him, and he was like telling her to get,
That's crazy.
yeah, you know, he was telling her to get rid of it and all this stuff. Now he's with her, and I'm guessing they're happily married. So I don't know, man. It's a different world we live in, bro. As Future would say, she's for the streets. I should get that. I should get that as a soundbite. I should get that as a soundbite. I gotta put that one on
That's
there. Shit. Last thing I wanted to talk about was trainers, coaches, getting paid. It seems that parents seem to have an issue with that more and more nowadays. I actually had a parent DM me about, well, first, let me back up. So it's when Matt, and shout out to Matt, announced me becoming the JV coach at Sac High.
Oh, yeah, congrats. That's dope.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it.
Damn, okay.
A lot of people think me and Matt are going to make a pretty good team.
I like that. I don't know him, but
yeah,
I like him.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. He was a great guest on the show too. And he wants me to be the head JV coach and his assistant on varsity.
Wow.
And overall, we both got a lot of positive feedback. People think it's going to be great. He did tell me, you know, some people had negative things to say. He was like, yeah, a few people were, you know, saying some stuff. And one of his players' parent DM'd me. This kid came to try out for my team, like kind of last second, when we were about to do a live period event, and I told him, you know, I had a player that was injured, so I said, yeah, I think he's solid. He can come, you know, do the event. And so I then told the parent the cost. I said, you know, for him to play this weekend, it would cost $150. And he would, you know, then the parent was like, $150. Why do I have to pay $150? I was like, because the tournament's not free. Everybody pays to do the tournament. He then was like, well, where's my money going? So I broke it down and explained it to him. I said, okay, well, $122 goes towards the tournament, and the remaining $28 goes towards coaches' gas and stipends. Simple as that. He then backed out and was like, nah, I ain't doing it. We ain't doing it. Okay, no problem. Fast forward. Then now Sac High, he DMs me saying he hopes I'm doing this for the kids and not to lace my pockets. And I then messaged him. I go, well, excuse me? Like, you know, what do you mean? He said, you took an opportunity away from my son for $28 that you were getting anyway from other parents on the team, and you were going there anyway.
That's crazy.
And I said, well, you know, not to get into too much detail, but I just basically said, well, this is my business model. If you don't agree with my business model, there's a lot of other AAU programs out there that you can choose. But AAU basketball isn't free. And I think he is a symptom of a lot deeper rooted issue, that there's this conception that basketball is cheap, for one, and it's not. And two, that because a player hits a certain level of talent, that therefore the trainer or coach should not be compensated for their work. My sixth grade team, like I just talked to Mark about and just kind of told you, Zach, my sixth grade team is now considered one of the top sixth grade teams in the nation. And yes, I'm going to definitely say shots fired to you other teams out there. My sixth grade team is a true sixth grade team.
He said shots
true
fired.
Sixth grade team. We are not a holdback. Let me get my, where's
Got the
that?
shots.
I know. Where's my sound effect? There you go. There you go. So, yes, let's make that very clear. My sixth grade team is not a holdback team. They are actually true 12-year-olds. I have my birth certificate, AAU cards, and report cards on deck if any of them want to find out and challenge themselves. I challenge you guys when I go to Ohio to show me yours, right? But knowing they won't. So my thing is, though, even though this sixth grade team is now considered one of the top in the nation, number one in Northern California, blah, 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 their parents don't then come to me and say, well, you should pay us for you to coach them. Like, it's just a privilege for you to coach them. No, they still have to pay the registration fees. They still have to pay for the coach's travel. They still have to pay. This is, again, a sixth grade team that's one of the top 16 in the nation. And they understand that. So I just don't get where parents and people come off with this misconception that basketball doesn't need to be paid for. Because when you walk in a tournament at Harwood, the officials are getting paid. The scorekeepers are getting paid. To keep the lights on costs money. People don't want to know what the SMUD bill is in these buildings. They don't want to know what the electric bill is in these buildings. The janitor that cleans up after everybody leaves all their fucking bottles and leaves the bathrooms destroyed needs to be paid.
Shout out to the janitors.
Yeah, right. Shout out to them big time. So where do they think this money comes from? You know, so I know, Mark, you mainly on the training side of it, but I'm just curious, you know, your thoughts or if you got anything to say. I know I'm on a rant on this, but it pisses me off. Like,
no, for sure.
People, I believe coaches and trainers, I believe they deserve to get paid. That's just my opinion.
It took me a while. Like when I first started training, like I said, I was doing what I was doing with passion, you know, didn't really care. But as I'm 5-6 years into it. And there's something I shout out to Marcus again. He used to always tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know your worth. You got to get paid. Nothing is for free, you know? And like I said, especially in the area that I'm from, I kind of understood, you know, like I'm not training in Roseville. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I had to help a lot of kids, you know, just with their situation. But as I've grown and gotten better and put in the hours to do what I'm doing now, like I understand now. You know what I'm saying? And I know my worth, and I actually feel like I can grow into what I'm doing. So that means that the things that I do on the daily, like I should be compensated for it because I'm I have a family, I have kids. Yeah. You know, I do this full time. So I like I said, like hearing that story, you know, it makes me mad, but I've learned just to be like, it's not meant to be.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. And I handled it professionally. You know, I just said, this is my business model. You don't agree with it. There's other options out there.
That's crazy, man. I'm with you, though, with that. Like, definitely got to get paid, man. We love what we do, so put a lot of time into it.
And what about you, Zach? I mean, you're someone in the heart of this and going to training still and working towards your potential professional career. What do you think of all this?
Yeah, I think it is a big deal. I think personally growing up, like I didn't know that you pay for training, like because you know what I'm saying. Like I said, we ain't really go to training. Like that.
Of course.
And it wasn't like we had the money to train like that. But yeah, like registration fees for the tournaments and all that, we would pay that, like because it was a part of like that just came with it, right? And I think a lot of parents don't really think about like the outside of like what this coach, you know what I'm saying? Like this is not your, you work at UPS, right?
Yeah, I work at UPS. That's so my job.
Clearly you're not trying to get rich off of coaching. Like,
that's what I tell people. That people have this misconception that YBA is rich. And I'm like, no, we're not. It's a nonprofit.
But shout out to Marcus, like you were saying. Marcus was the first person to really teach me that. And Marcus was somebody never really charged me for training, which I appreciate, but because I didn't have it, like, but you know, when I was able to pay, like I would pay whatever, I'll give him some money, I'll buy him food and stuff. That's my bro, but shout out to him for being the first person to actually like put money in my pocket. Like I'm like, I was broke, obviously college student, didn't know anything, didn't want to. I tried to get a job in the summer, it was terrible. And so Marcus was like, how about you train? Yeah. And I'm like, cool. Like, there's some other guys who were like, oh, yeah, you can train under me, whatever. I'm like, cool, I'll do that. But then Marcus was like, nah, bro, like you can just use Strava with others and be your own trainer. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You can make your own prices and stuff. And so he kind of walked me through that. So I'm eternally grateful for Marcus. Like, he's just a good dude. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
As crazy as he is, he a good dude. And I appreciate that. But
man,
stop the cap.
Marcus a jackass. What you talking about? Nah, that's my guy, man. I love him to death. That's little bro. No, I totally agree with you. Like, no, and that speaks on, like, yes, there are those relationships that you build, and of course, even me, I try to work with everybody's financial situation. If you can't pay me necessarily in money, maybe we could figure trading something out, or if I run across a kid, like again, like the kid Jordan, who you guys met earlier, he has 4 brothers. So Jess and John have 4 kids. All 4 of those kids are in this AAU club. So of course we're going to throw them a discount. They have 4 kids in our AAU club. You know what I mean? They have a 5th grade, a 6th grade, and 2 sophomores. So it's like, yeah, let's help them out. You know what I mean? Because they're helping our club, because their kids are actually good kids. They work hard, good basketball players. You know what I mean? So you pick and choose those moments, but when the people just basically try to lie or nickel and dime you, or they'll pay one trainer, but then they'll come to you and don't want to pay you, or try to get a discount. I don't know.
And another thing to go on with that, like, I feel like basketball specifically is not, there is like, it can't be equal. It can't be fair. Like, so if, as a coach, if y'all are coaching trainer, if y'all want to train this kid for free, like, that's y'all, it's y'all business. Y'all can do that. Parents need to understand that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, it's y'all business.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you don't want to rock with it, that's cool.
Yeah, it's their business model.
Tons of them.
Yeah.
But for what y'all do, and shout out to y'all, man, respect to what y'all do, because y'all produce, it shouldn't be a issue. It should just be like, okay, cool. Like, if I want to work with you, I want to work with you, period.
Right.
I'll figure it out. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
Like,
It's true. It's just just in basketball is the only place I kind of seen it become like that, or be like that, because I don't see this in volleyball. I don't see this in baseball. I don't see this in soccer or tennis, or and
they get paid.
Yeah, they get. They
you
just
gotta pay for those.
You just pay the money. It's just here's the cost.
Man, it's AAU.
Yeah, and of course there are those. I mean, let's be real. Yeah, there's those out who are using AAU to try to get rich, or live a certain lifestyle and stuff. I tell parents and kids, use discernment. Like, use some common sense. I know common sense ain't common nowadays, but just use some common sense. You know what I mean? Like, if the AAU director's pulling up in a Tesla and you're like, do you have a job? No, I don't got a job. Like, maybe this guy might be doing a couple different things and using the AAU money. But, in my experience, most coaches, trainers, it's a labor of love. We do it because we love the game. We're obsessed with the game, and we enjoy what we do. Like I said, if I could quit UPS and actually sleep and not have to do this, I would love to do that. But it's just not something I'm with. I just have a firm standpoint that I believe people need to be compensated for their work.
100%.
Period. And even though it's a labor of love, even though we love coaching, we love training, people need to be paid. I'm
gonna repost this soundbite.
Please do. I'm gonna try. Well, knowing Joe, he'll chop a lot of this up and make some good shorts out of it. No, and I think that was my last thing. Just understanding that these people are dedicating their time. I'm more speaking and reflecting on that. Let me set my tone right. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. But no, I want people to know, trainers, coaches, anyone that's dedicating their time to these kids is doing a service that you guys really need to take into account and appreciate. Because like Mark said, he has a family. I have kids. Like, I'm flying across the country, pulling time away from those things in order to help someone else achieve their dream and goal. And I think sometimes it's a little ignored. So parents, as I've said before in this segment of the show, if it's not a good fit in terms of you don't like the costs, you don't like the way those things balance out, just move on. Just go to where it's free. I think, most rec leagues are pretty cheap. Like you said, CYBL, I think it's pretty cheap. Salvation Army, you get what you pay for, basically. And for you kids out there who are looking for people to help you out, and you might not have the money, you might not have the means, advocate for yourself. Talk to trainers. If they see the potential in you, most of the time, we try to work with you. We try to help you. Like I said, I got kids here come from some pretty tough backgrounds. I just tell their families, hey, if you can get to the gym, you can get to practice, don't worry about the cost. You know what I mean? But open your mouth. Don't assume just because you're really good, we just gonna cover and take care of you. So,
closed mouth don't get fed.
Exactly. So with all that being said,
yes, sir.
I think we had a really good show. And if you listened all the way through to the end, you're a real one. I appreciate you. If you listened to it little by little by little and you made it to the end, still appreciate you. Zach, do you have any shout outs you want to give out right now?
Shout out my fiance.
Smart man.
She's tight. She's in law school right now. Shout out to her. Shout out to Sac State, all the coaches over there. Shout out to my mentor, Charvis. All my family, my brothers, everybody, parents, Grammy. Shout out all y'all, man. All
right, perfect. And then next episode, we're going to have coming up pretty quick. It's going to have Frank from One Vision and two-time Olympian, former WNBA player, Ruthie Bolton. So I'm looking forward to having her on the show. I think they just did a Netflix documentary or some documentary. They were talking about the women's team. So that's going to be really cool to check out and talk about. Obviously, her perspective on women's basketball and where it's at. I'm looking forward to talking to her about. Shout out Coach Brandon. Keep doing the content you do, brother, man. I know we talk and you're doing great stuff, speaking out there. I'm supposed to also have coach from San Jose State, Danny Hendricks? Damani, sorry. Sorry, Damani. He's going to either do the show or he's going to do my IG Live. So he'll be cool to talk to. Me and him have had a lot of good conversation. And shout out to all my YBA kids and all you guys who've been supporting and listening and supporting the cause. Mark, did you have any shout outs, anything?
Appreciate you, Zach, man. Good luck, man. Good luck for your future, man.
Thank you. Shout out to y'all too for having me. I really do appreciate it.
No, man, thanks for coming, man. Again, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Check us out. Check out. Got the IGs on the link in the description. Check us out. Feel free to reach out anytime if you have any questions. And we are out.